Hi you guys, it's Arielle. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I've taken you a little bit outside of Paris to Vallée Village, which are the outlet malls, and I want to see if the deals are good enough to merit a trip all the way out here because it is quite far. To give you a visual, the outlet mall is about 1 hour away from the center of Paris if you take the Arielle train and is next door neighbors to Disneyland Paris. We started our shopping at Sandro with the intention of finding Jean some nice sweaters for work. That said, I think as soon as we saw that this t-shirt was 64 euros, we realized that we were a little bit out of our price range. Nearly every men's sweater that we pulled was over 200 euros. And even as I perused the women's section, I wasn't really wowed. I found that a lot of the pieces were damaged with pulls or pilling, which I think is normal for an outlet store, but I just didn't find that the prices reflected the quality of the pieces. I did find a few items that I wanted to try on though, so I was off to the changing rooms. I liked these jeans, but they were a bit too short on me. I thought the print and color of blue on this jean mini dress was very cute, but the full zip didn't feel secure enough, and the comfort of the materials didn't feel like it was worth 200 euros. The second tweed and jean dress was nice, but the buttons, when done up, weirdly didn't lay flat. Next up was Levi's, and while they did have a large selection of jeans, I found the pricing quite high for an outlet mall. To give you an example, these 501 men's jeans were priced at 91 euros or 108 USD, and when I looked them up on the Levi's US website, I saw them for $79.50, plus you'd get an extra 25% off with a purchase of $100 or more, so I thought that the price difference was pretty significant. They did have this outlet store promotion, which was one pair of jeans and two tops for 175 euros, so we picked out a couple pieces for Jean and headed to the change rooms. While I waited, I decided to look around myself, which is always a mistake when your intention is not to buy anything, but I did find the mid-thigh shorts that I was looking for, and they were such a great deal at 35 euros. Two out of 8 stores done. We've been here for over an hour. Sandro was a quick one. I didn't find the quality of the pieces to be worth the price tag. Pretty much everything we touched was over 200 euros, and it just didn't feel like it was worth it. It almost feels like one of those stores where they specifically have a line of clothing under the brand name, but that's cheaply made or cheaper made that goes directly to the outlet store. So we didn't find anything in Sandro. Levi's, however, was bad. I was not planning on getting anything. We were specifically going for Jean so we can get pants for his new job, which we did. So job accomplished. I think the prices were okay for 2 pairs of men's jeans, 1 men's sweater, 1 jean dress for me, 1 pair of women's shorts, and 1 white t-shirt for me was about 300 euros. So I think it's a good price for France, for Paris. It's cheaper than what you get at like Galeries Lafayette, for example. But in terms of, is it cheap compared to what you can find in Canada or the US? I don't think so. For the moment, the consensus is if you're French, this might be a good deal. If you're hoping to score the deal of the century coming from the US or for Canada, I'm not so sure it's worth it. But anyways, we have 8 more stores on our list, so we'll see. Our next stop is Longchamp. There are a couple bags that I've had my eye on for quite a while, so I was really hoping that I might find one on sale. Now, I wouldn't say that I was completely disappointed. There were some nice deals like this Le Pliage Filet lime green bag for 65 euros, but I think most of the bags on display from older collections were generally still quite pricey. I didn't find the bag I was looking for, and I wasn't wowed by the prices. I think even for some bags, I was a little disappointed by the quality, but I think it was nice to walk through and just get some inspiration. Now, Maje was one of the stores that I was most excited for. I love shopping at Maje during the summer and winter sales in Paris at the Galeries Lafayette, so I know that they mean business when they have a sale. For that reason, I was again not very impressed by the prices. I still tried on a couple pieces that caught my eye, like this pair of jeans. I love their jeans in general because they are so long, which is perfect for a tall girl like me, as well as this snap button cardigan. I'm not so sure that this look is worth 300 euros, but I probably would have gotten the jeans if they had them in my size. I loved this tennis skirt. It was stunning, but it was very much a micro skirt, so too short for my body type. That said, if you're shorter than me, I would highly recommend running over to scoop this one up. It was so cute. These jeans might look familiar to you. I have some tea on the price that I'll share at the end of the video. After hours of wandering through the village, the sun was starting to set and it was getting quite chilly, so we headed off to our second to last stop, which is Coach. This was probably the most deceitful pricing in my opinion. I actually really enjoyed walking through the store because it gave me a great idea of the type of bag I want to buy for fall, but the pricing was bad, to put it bluntly. Take the Faye shoulder bag for example, which was priced at 319 euros in store or 378 USD. You can literally find this bag on the US Coach website for 199 American dollars, so literally half of the price. Another example is the Laurel shoulder bag, which was priced at 279 euros or 455 Canadian dollars in store. And while I did find it listed at the same price on their French website, I also think I found it on the Canadian website for only $319. The Terry crossbody was another heartbreaker because I almost bought this in store. However, after a quick Google search, I found it priced 20 euros cheaper on their French website. I don't even understand why you would have an outlet store if it's just going to be cheaper to buy a product online. A quick note on their 2025 collection pieces is that the discount is listed at 0%, which doesn't surprise me because they're brand new, but I thought it was funny to see the discount literally set at 0% on the tag. There was one semi-deal that I found. This Claire crossbody was 279 euros in store and 299 euros online. Like I said, I'm happy that I went in because I love that the store gave me inspiration and I could see how the bags looked on me, I could try them on, but I thought it was a little bit misleading to sell some of their bags cheaper online. And for our final stop, we headed into Lacoste to check out the menswear. I think by this point, we were both pretty tired and knew that we had a long drive home, so we didn't care much to try anything on. We might have, I think, if there had been an insane deal, but there wasn't anything that jumped out to us as worth it, given that most items were around the €100 mark. They had a huge fleecewear section, which was intriguing because the colors were cute, but again, there weren't any out-of-this-world deals. As you can see, I found this exact sweater on the US Lacoste website for cheaper than it was listed in store. I will say that I adored this men's sweater, and given that it was cashmere, I don't necessarily think it was a bad deal, just out of our budget. Okay, so we just got back to the car. We didn't buy anything other than what we purchased at Levi's. Do I think Vallée Village is worth your time? No. Not if you're a tourist, not if you're a French person. I just don't think that the deals were that great. If you're a tourist, you are absolutely gonna find better deals back home. I spent my whole childhood, all of my March breaks in Florida. We would always take a trip to the outlet malls, so I know that at least in Florida, the deals were exponentially better. In Toronto, all the outlet malls are way cheaper. And it's not even just going to the malls or the outlet malls in the US or in Canada, I think is cheaper. It's even online. I think you'd find better deals. And while the stores did have a pretty good variety of items, like there were older pieces, there were pieces from the 2025 collection. Generally speaking, it was only the older pieces that were discounted. There was nothing really from the newer collections that were on sale. So you might as well just go to a regular store or shop online if you want, especially if you're visiting Paris. Like, it doesn't make sense to waste precious time that you have visiting the city at an outlet mall that is quite a ways away. Now, if you're a French person, I think it's even less of an interesting adventure for you because you just can find such a better deal during the summer and winter sales. The best example is when we're in Maje, I saw the jeans that I purchased this summer during the summer sales. I went back and I looked at the video that I posted and I ended up purchasing those jeans for 140 euros.
Yeah, 137.
137. Everyone put your bets in at how much we saw them here. If you guessed 180 euros, you would be correct. It was 40 euros more expensive for a jean that was on sale months ago in the Galeries Lafayette store in the center of Paris. So that was just one example. And another thing that I wanted to mention, because I've seen this both at American and Canadian outlet malls, is typically you have the outlet mall sale price, which is pretty significantly reduced, but then normally you'll have like an extra 20 or an extra 30, 40, 50% off. I know when I went to Kate Spade this summer in Toronto, they had the sale price, and then it was something like an extra 40% off. It was such a good deal. And here you didn't get that extra percentage off. It was just the sale or like the outlet price on the tag that you would end up paying at the checkout. So those are my thoughts. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, but I think there is probably something here because there is a lot of people.
That's true. Like, there were a ton of people shopping. Jean kept saying, like, okay, there has to be a deal here somewhere if there's so many people. I don't know. I guess my mentality is I'm willing to wait for the sales. The sales happen biannually, so once in the winter, once in the summer. I'm willing to wait 6 months to get a great deal as opposed to getting a mediocre deal every weekend at this outlet mall. So maybe that's why people who don't want to wait for the sales. Voila, I'm happy we came here. I'm happy to have experienced this for myself, to realize in person that it's not a great deal. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it provided some clarity if you were thinking of visiting Vallée Village. I know a couple people during my consultation calls asked me if I thought it was worth it, and now we know it is not. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.